Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel Codentech. I am Debyani Mahapatra, and today we are here again with another very special guest and someone with whom we are having a discussion since 4 months, and he's finally on board with our tech community, Subham Ray. Hi, Subham.
Hi, Debyani. It's an honor to be here.
It's the same. We can say the same. Subham Ray has enabled and has been backbone for different tech communities around the world. He's an author of a very popular book known as June, which is now freely available to everyone. He has written blogs, technical articles with over 3 lakh views, and that's quite a lot. He has mentored students not only on national ground, but also on international levels. Being an international speaker, he has been awarded as C Sharp Corner Most Valuable Professional. So, Shubham, that's quite an achievement. And I'm pretty sure we have a lot to learn from you in this particular video, and our viewers will enjoy it. We
Yeah,
can go with your introduction, Shubham.
thank you so much for that warm introduction. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you and your team for inviting me through this YouTube channel and through your sources. I really appreciate the efforts that you are getting into this stuff. I really, it's an honor and a pleasure by the both same time to be here. And yes, very looking forward to your session.
Okay, Shubham, that was really great. So, we will start this particular video with a very fundamental question that I think most of our viewers would want to know about. What is the time you think that a university student should join a technical community? I mean, it's a very fundamental question.
Actually, what I think from my personal experience, since I was at a university level student, so I think it is when a student finds his passion or her passion towards something specific towards technology, be it AI, ML, front end, back end, or anything gaming. I think at that moment of time, there are various opportunities at a college level that enables him or her to join his favorite community. Yes, if you ask me what is a tenure, I would definitely say it's end of first year to the start of second year. That would be great. But anyways, anytime you can find your favorite community. But for me, if you ask me direct question, hey Shubham, what's the perfect time? So I believe it's the end of first year and the beginning of the second year. Yeah, at that time.
Why would you say that it would be the end? Why would it be better to join at the end of first year? Or
Right. I see. I believe that each and every individual on the class has come from different background. Suppose if you take an example of a best example that the student has already come from a technical background.
okay,
Now in the university where the crowd is there, that you get enough options to pursue your career. They have already been a development or background of Java programming, right? But in the course of time, when he's learning about Python or even R, he finds or she finds that it is the language that he or she needed actually.
right.
And that's the diversion comes from the first year, right? So at the end of first year, the student, I guess it is plenty of time for first year that he or she gets a good amount of knowledge of what he or she wants to do. And that's the perfect time to join the community with passion.
That totally makes sense. And with this, I would like to ask you my next question that if you were asked to build a community, since you have been backbone for so many communities, what would be the principles on which the communities would be built? The values, the core principles that you would keep in mind?
That's actually the wrap-up question of my book, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So, see, if I am told to build a community, it is I am going to build my community, right? So it is the thing that I want to be in the community. The very first thing that every one of us want, but it's so sad truth that it doesn't exist anymore to majority is the transparency. Every contribution of the student, every contribution of the member should be transparent as crystal clear. Even if you are something contributing to the community, that should the community accept and acknowledge that this is the thing this member of our community has contributed. Rather, it should not show that, hey, this is the thing that our community has produced,
Okay.
right? So
Getting the
there are things that exist in community which I would love to, straight away say, hey, this is not the thing going on. But anyways, each and every community has their own way to do that build. I don't have any negativity on that. But you know what? In the long run, when you want to build a community for long run, right? Even I don't want to question that question. Any one of the people will ask the same. Hey, boss, I have contributed this thing. Why you have mentioned the credits? So that boss will tell, hey, buddy, don't worry, chill at that moment. I'll get you done stuff. So that negative impact on his or her mind at that night will create questions to his friends, and that's how a community gets down. So the very first thing for me, it's transparency. Second is support. Now you must be thinking, what sort of support can I get to the student or my community members? See, each and every one of the community members that are present in your community wants to have a knowledge, nothing else. Simple as answer. If you want to build stuff, they want to have some support for if somebody that can help him or her to build that stuff. If they want to understand, okay, I am going to learn machine learning, which programming language is the best? Fine. If you know the answer, help him out or help her out. But if you don't know, get him someone to help the questions out. This is the support, basic supports that students, communities look for. And I believe that support is a continuous process when they contribute to the questions and enables each and everyone to glorify. And thus, at the end of the day, when they get that support, they build the project and you follow the process number one, that you give the credits of the project.
Yeah.
The community organically grows. It is just organic. You don't have to produce swags, you don't have to produce water bottles, stuffs, t-shirts, nothing at all. It's just the credit. Because at the end of the day, tomorrow he or she will be yes, probably a professional. And at that moment of time, he or she will realize that the bottles and the swags doesn't matter at all. What does matter is the knowledge.
That's coming to your second point where you said that it's the knowledge that people are looking in for a community at the end of the day. It's how we are helping it. So I would like to ask you this: that activating that community, what triggers that in the community? How do you activate the community?
Right. So the question was, what should be the qualities in the community? If I'm going to start,
Yeah.
what the things I'm not getting, I should introduce those qualities into my community. And that's how, if you see yourself as an end user, you will have that loophole of that feedbacks, and you probably have that answer to this question.
Okay. Okay. That's another very good technical answer, actually. Um, Moving ahead, when you're saying that we are gaining knowledge from a community and we are openly working in it, uh, how do students, specifically university students, manage between the studies and the community? Like it's another thing that they are working on. So how is the balance maintained? We can
Right,
help some.
right. This is the very, very, like I should say that the very frequent questions that I came across during my years. But okay, here is the answer. Now, this is the answer. There is nothing to be meant about, but this is what I feel from my personal experience. Where I believe that you can see on the stuff of the social medias that people are saying that, hey, CGP doesn't matter, anything else would matter, blah, blah, blah. But I think that CGP does matter a lot. And when you have free time, invest in your extracurricular activities and community. Example, if you're spending 24 hours, I'm 100% sure that nobody in this world spends 24 hours in study. Minimum 6 hours, they can get sleep and remaining on the university. Like you have the university timing, come back home, have a dinner, do your homework. Now there's a stuff going on between 2 to 3 hours. Follow your studies of the passion that you want. For example, other than the studies, for example, your university doesn't have that ML chapter or ML syllabus, but you want to learn the machine learning. So that is the 2 3 hours per day. That means 21 hours in a week you have in your hand that you can invest in total of that subject. Out of that 21 hours, if I take 3 hours per day for 7 days, you have complete Saturday and Sunday. Fine. Sunday you can just go out with friends and hang out with your peers. That's totally fine, and it's just normal for a college student. What about Saturday? You can just connect with your community. Hey, buddy, I have built this project. Can you just help me out to get a review, a feedback? Or even if you have not built that project, hey, buddy, I need to have someone to help me out. Can you just help me to get some connections over there? Or if you can help me out. So I believe that, see, if somebody put your help senior through the Zoom or through the LinkedIn, I believe that project as an assistance, if you ask me, hey, Shubham, can you help me out in this? I think there is 2-3 hours of sessions required in that whole Saturday.
Okay.
That makes sense. After 2-3 hours, you can put that implement, and I believe in a month your project would be as smooth.
Okay.
So I believe for that perfect short answer, 80% you have to invest in your studies, because studies are the things that are being required for your first to actually, if you want to go for campus placements, right? And again, if off campus also, then also your CGPA matters a lot. Those people who say that does not matter, eventually when you apply for a job, the first thing that they will ask you, if you have passed out, they will ask you for your degree. If you have not passed out, they'll ask you, year, which year you are in and what is the CGPA. That projects are also important. 80% you deliver to your studies, 20% you can manage off your own.
Okay. As you mentioned that when we have a project and we can go on and ask it in the community, it is also like we are integrating the community in our studies. Do you have any suggestions on how, what are the other ways we can integrate the communities in our studies itself? Like not see it as two different things.
Right. So each and every one of us at the end of a semester, you are given a project. Hey, build this project, or there is a project class, right? That you have to build some stuff out of the knowledge you know. Now, intellectually, when we seek those projects, for example, when I was a university student, I was a big fan and practitioner of AI and ML. So at that moment of time, I usually build stuff that are required for those technologies, AI and ML. For example, you can just hover to the net and just one of my article will show you face recognition system and with airline prediction system. So this system I have built as a project, and for that project I have taken help of my mentors from Microsoft itself and Microsoft MVP also. Yeah. So this is how I aligned the community to my studies. So there are no different words. They're the same of the word. It's just that I am the one to heads up where to go and which time.
Perfect. That's a really witty way to do it. And moving ahead, we would move on to our final question for today's session. And it is something that we look up to you for, because you love building communities and you are popularly known for it. And it has been very evident. So what are the qualities you look to induce to get a started phase? The qualities when you are starting a community, what are those few things that you would look on?
Right. So this question has so much to be depth about, to think about, because everyone wants to start a community, but not every community is as successful. Now, this nomenclature, when I'm speaking about, it does consist of certain brackets. Now, what are those brackets? Let me just help you out with the question. First thing, why should I need, or why would I need to build a community? Now, this question comes to your mind when you want to start a community and you believe in the answer that the problem that I am facing is also faced by several students in the community. And that's how you start to take your step forward with that, blurry mind that what should I do? But anyways, let's just start with a community. The very first thing is to have an objective of a community. The objective defines what community qualities itself should be induced itself. For example, let me just take an example of a student who is not so accessible for technology articles or technology documentations, right? And he wants to build itself some community. What he does that he gets the resources from any known one and shares with his friends. Hey, buddy, this is the Kotlin. This one is the new feature. You get to learn about things. Hey, buddy, this is the Python. So this is becoming a technical circle to be understood about. that someone is sharing a technical stuff, technical friends are there. Eventually, when the technical stuffs are producing certain things, togetherness. 5 friends of Python love, they built a stuff out of the Python, and people outside of those circle, they call them community. Hey, this is that community of theirs. So the induced feature was to find the objective, number one. Second thing is, when you induce the objective, people of the same like-minded will join you eventually. And that is the time you have to put your feet on the place and have to build some qualities. Transparency is the foremost. Second, openness. What is meant by openness? Anything that everyone is working on should be open to each and every one of us. For example, I'm working on a web development thing, and I have worked on React.js. And if somebody is starting a React.js, since the community openness, he knows or she knows that I've already worked on React, he or she can contact me. And that's how I believe the connectivity of the community takes place. Third, in a community, if you are in a community, there is a possibility of networking. For example, I just mentioned you a few moments ago, I had a connection with a Microsoft MVP who helped me and mentored me. The question is, how did I get connected to him? It is through a community connections, and that's how I delivered him to another junior to mine. So this is how connections work, because each and every connection you pass down, each relationship you found. And that's how mentor to the student relations are based on. Fourth, if you're working together, make sure that every credit, everything's on time, has to be maintained at the proper documentations. Because at a community level, there are people who will try to question you out. Hey, who did build this? So to just not to avoid, but to not able to help him with the situation, to ask you the question, you have a better documentations and it's prepared. Right. Again, each and every one do loves to have a free swags. If you have a free swags, perfectly fine. If you can help you out, totally fine. If you don't, it's totally fine, because at the end of the day, students join you just for networking and for knowledge. That's it. Because swags people do love, but at the end of 4th year, when they get a job, hey, you are in that community, right? You're posting so much stuff of that goodies. So there is a chance the person that is asking you this question, he was not in that community and has built more projects than you with the swags.
Okay.
So yeah, so I think the best 4 things are very important: connectivity, transparency, proper documentations, and openness. I believe the 3-4 things should be minimum. Maximum is whatever you want it.
Okay. So these are quite, it's like a roadmap actually to connect between transparency to networking, and how are you maintaining that transparency by documenting. And then of course, if you can add on swags, why not? If the community can go on for it. So with this, I think it was a really mind-opening session, I would say, because what we needed was clarity. And that is what you gave us in a very brief manner, and in a very simple manner. You said things that are that hold so much importance. So I hope even our viewers will enjoy this video. And if you have stayed till now, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe this video. Share it among your communities, join our communities, and have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.